Now at 6, the Kansas Attorney General has removed the Neosho County Attorney from a murder case. Plus, how a multi-million-dollar donation will help the Carthage School District build a new baseball stadium. And
the details on the Asbury power plant implosion. I'm Fernanda Silva with this story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A lot more firepower than fireworks. A quick series of blasts in a southwest Missouri fixture for more than half a century comes crashing to the ground as a crew implodes the Asbury power plant. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. This morning's implosion used almost 1,700 pieces of dynamite and other explosives. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Authorities say the blast safely brought down one power plant, one air pollution control system building, and 2 original concrete and brick stacks in less than 20 seconds. Commissioned in 1970, the Asbury power plant was removed from service in March 2020, but only now, more than 3 years later, it was imploded.
It didn't make too much noise, number one, but it was just neat to watch it, something close. You see that on TV or on movies or something, and I've never seen one up front like that. It was just exciting.
Now, during the summer, the area will be cleaned to be ready for its next use. The steel that is now on the ground will be cut and recycled.
You know, the Asbury plant will live on somewhere. It may live in hundreds of different places in the future.
Even though Sean Rooney was very pleased about how the implosion came out, the director of Strategic Projects for Liberty also had a feeling of nostalgia.
From start to finish, I mean, time kind of slowed down for me for a little bit. I actually worked at that facility for almost 7 years of my career. Bittersweet day for me, and I know for a lot of other people.
Dale Jasonbeck also decided to go watch the implosion after working on the plant every spring and fall for 15 years.
It's been here 50 years. It's part of the countryside. So it's, you know, it's kind of sad, I guess, but, you know, it's part of change.
Jennifer Short also shared a similar feeling as her dad worked for the local railroad delivering coal to the plant.
It is a part of our history. It's how we generated electricity for a long time, and it's an old way of generating electricity and bringing in a different way.
Energy that's used in the area comes from the Southwest Power Pool. Our wind farms feed into that same pool that the Asbury power plant did.
But the environmental liability is just one of the reasons why the Asbury power plant was imploded.
Structure that large requires a great deal of maintenance, you know. You find that when a building is no longer continuously occupied like it once was, you know, things begin to deteriorate.
In Asbury, Missouri, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The Asbury power plant was replaced in part by the North Fork Wind Farm, which is within sight northeast of the Asbury plant. Liberty Utilities says the Asbury employees had the opportunity to transition to new roles within the company, and many of them took positions supporting their new wind farms. The Carthage School District announced a $2.5 million donation to build a new baseball stadium. The district's old stadium was declared unsafe by the city's engineer in February. KD and ML Steadley Trust Bank of America is donating the money for the new stadium. The district will receive $500,000 installments over the next 5 years. The new stadium will be on the northeast corner of the high school campus. Construction schedule has not yet been finalized. Boy, it's really hot out there. Meteorologist Sam Lane.
That's right, Dow. Hot to be playing baseball or anything outdoors. In fact, tomorrow, the UV index is going to be in the extreme category once again, 11 on a scale of 0 to 12. That means less than 10 minutes outside could cause a little bit of sunburn. So make sure you wear the hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, find the shade, limit your time out. Be sure to check on Grandma and Grandpa. Make sure that they are staying cool as well, as they are more susceptible to the heat. Range on the Grand Lake's looking pretty good. Right now, right at normal. Same thing over Table Rock Lake, about a foot above normal right now, but not too bad. Also Stockton, a great place to be hanging out in the water and staying cool, around a foot above normal right now. Looking down the lane, we do have near record heat to talk about again tomorrow. The drought, of course, is continuing, but we do have some Saturday storms, and we'll talk about the holiday weekend as well when we come back with weather in just a bit.
See you soon. The Kansas Attorney General has removed the Neosho County Attorney from prosecuting a murder case. Parsons, Kansas area native Dakota Patton went missing in April. His body was found in a field in May. Authorities say he had been shot to death. Clint and Kimberly Nybarger were arrested for Patton's murder and are now awaiting trial. Patton's family raised concerns about previous professional connections between suspect Clint Nybarger and the Neosho County Attorney Linus Thuston. A court order was filed earlier this month to remove Thuston as prosecutor in this case, and now the state attorney general has stepped in to approve that court order. A jury today found a Newton County, Missouri man guilty of child sex crimes. Authorities say 31-year-old Jonathan Kavit sexually abused a 4-year-old girl in a house near Granby. The jury found him guilty of 1 count of statutory rape, 2 counts of statutory sodomy. Kavit will be sentenced at the end of August. A Southeast Kansas woman entered a plea of no contest as part of a plea bargain to drop several charges. Authorities say Alexis Metcalf stole from the attorney's office where she worked in Fort Scott. She was originally charged with 2 counts of theft of services and 16 counts of forgery dealing with checks in August of 2022. Metcalf entered the no contest plea for 1 count of theft. The state agreed to drop all other charges. According to a recent study by the CDC, more than 1 in 5 LGBTQ youth attempted suicide in the past year. It's a national stat that hits close to home. Luke Nugent was a teen from Carl Junction. Those closest to Luke say he was bullied because of his sexuality. It's been 10 years since Luke took his own life, but his friends and family still feel his impact. Seeing Luke's influence after all these years makes his mother proud.
It gives me hope that love like Luke gave is really a lasting impact on people that they carry for the rest of their lives, even if he's not in their life anymore, you know, and it will forever inspire them to spread that kind of love too.
I feel like it's more accepted now to be a part of the LGBTQ community like he was, but I feel like everyone's not accepting it, so there's still some outside voices.
Luke Nugent's mother says she promotes the importance of calling the 988 suicide hotline when times are hard. We're going to hear much more from her and from Luke's friends tonight at 9 and 10. Freeman Hospital is giving high school students a unique experience this summer. Freeman Health Academy includes job shadowing, CPR certification, treatment scenarios, and more. Teaches the students health care and patient care, all while allowing them to experience the career path they desire. Coming up, a symposium in Joplin gives residents a look at the future of smart cities. Plus, area high school students showcase their research projects at a symposium at Crowder College. A Joplin tech company is giving people a glimpse into the possible future. Automated technology company today hosted a smart city symposium. It featured industry experts from different companies discussing new tech innovations designed to improve the everyday lives of residents.
Smart city really is a random term, but Joplin, we look at how we can become more efficient as a community, as a city, make it easier for our citizens to live, play, and work in Joplin.
That symposium was free. It was hosted at the Joplin Family Worship Center. Another symposium, this one at Crowder College in Neosho, showcased student research projects. It's part of the Upward Bound Summer Academy program. The projects were part of 16 different classes ranging from crime scene investigation to agriculture to graphic design. Officials say the academy gives high school students valuable skills.
History isn't always what we think it is. Sometimes it could just be up to a person to think about what they can think really whatever they want. We learned that the main difference is the past is what actually happened. History is what we interpret it based on the evidence we have available to us.
Upward Bound officials say they serve 300 students from 37 high schools in southwest Missouri. A little later, a Pitt State track and field star announces he's going pro.
And we had record heat across the 4 states. I'll be back to tell you what tomorrow looks like, as well as your holiday weekend forecast when we return. Well, friends, it was HOT across the 4 states, including Seneca, Missouri. This morning, let's start out looking at what was going on at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We started off with a few clouds, and as the afternoon progressed, bright blue sunny skies took over. Just a few high thin cirrus clouds in the afternoon certainly didn't help with the scorching heat and the sunshine, allowing temperatures to rise up over 100 degrees in many locations, including Joplin. We actually tied the record today. 103 was our high, which was set back in 1952. That record, wouldn't 58 feel right nice right about now, back in 1985? And of course, we're below on the rain for the month as well as the year, about 8¼ inches behind. There are some storms on radar, but they're way out to the west, south of Hays, Kansas, moving up towards the north and east away from us. Other big storms in northern Colorado producing some flooding in Denver, and tornado watches out that way. But instead, we're dealing with a different kind of watch, a heat advisory for most of southwest Missouri, southeastern Kansas, an excessive heat warning for northeastern Oklahoma. That goes until 9 o'clock tonight. And then, of course, we have the heat advisory also for southeastern Kansas until 9 o'clock tonight as well. So it's been a hot one across the area. And temperatures right now are still sweltering. 105 in Iola, ouch. 104 in Chanute, 105 in Yates Center, 100 in Carthage, Stockton, Nevada, 90s, upper 90s down in southwestern Missouri around Anderson and Cassville, but that's still pretty steamy for them. And when you factor in the dew point humidity, it's even worse. 107 in Webb City, Nevada, and Stockton right now. Are you kidding me? 106 in Anderson, 108 in Grove for the Champion right now. And it's going to stay that way for at least the next several hours. And then tomorrow, a repeat of today. Not as hot. We're going to have a little bit more cloudiness, but we're still going to get over 100 degrees. And certainly it's going to feel like over 105, a large part of the area again tomorrow. Then as we go through the forecast, things are going to be changing. Rain chances, pretty much zero. Obviously, this is an error here, but looks like rain chances are going to increase tomorrow afternoon, but it's going to be more of an isolated nature. We have to wait till Saturday before the rain chances really start to increase. And by Sunday evening, we could see some places picking up to around 1/3 to 1/2 inch of rain, maybe heavier amounts in some isolated spots, but it looks like a pretty good smattering of showers and storms as we head into the forecast on Saturday. In fact, there might be some severe weather way up to the north and east. We're going to have to watch it here in our areas. There's a marginal risk for our region as well, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. But tonight, temperatures are going to be dropping down into the 70s and lower 80s with southwest winds. Then tomorrow, again, over 100 degrees, especially up towards the north and west. In fact, the further north and west you go, there's going to be compressional heating along a boundary. We could see temperatures over 105 to 110 up to the north and west. And then as we go through Friday night and Saturday morning, scattered showers will start to develop across our area, help cooling us down a little bit with lows in the 70s. And then Saturday afternoon, scattered storms still around, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s. And then by Sunday morning, drier air will start to move in from the north and west, making it feel more comfortable out there. That's because this ridge of high pressure is going to take a trip to the south and east, giving us a little bit of a break as the storm system moves in from the north and west. Over the next 7 days, here's your forecast. Hot. Tomorrow, alert day, record tying high of 100, and cooler as we head towards next week, including the 4th of July with a high of only 92.
We will take 92. Thanks, Sam. John Dales joins us now. An exciting finish to this afternoon's Royals game.
Yeah, Kansas City fans, they really haven't had a ton of back and forth games, but this afternoon, likely the game of the year. Plus, some major news from Pitt State track and field athlete Cordell Tinch today, ahead of competing in the U.S. National Champions next weekend. More on that after the break. Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. Pitt State track and field athlete Cordell Tinch is taking the world by storm right now. Last weekend, he ran the fastest time in the world this year in the 110-meter hurdles, placing him as one of the top qualifiers for next weekend's U.S. Outdoor Nationals meet in Oregon. And today, Tinch makes further news by turning pro, foregoing the rest of his college eligibility and signing with a management group. So, unfortunately, you won't be seeing Tinch wear a Gorillas uniform anymore in the future, but his now former head coach Kyle Rutledge says the way Cordell is handling all this success, it's what has impressed him most.
He's always got a great attitude, his personality, he's always upbeat, he's always excited, and he's just always has a smile on his face. So that's the most rewarding thing is through all this and everything that's going on, he's got great attitude, he's hungry to keep doing better, and comes to practice with a great attitude.
In other news, the Joplin Sports Authority announces this afternoon that Missouri Southern will be the host for 2 upcoming junior college national championships. The 2024 and 2025 D2 Women's Basketball Championships will be held on MSSU's campus. Now, the Joplin Sports Authority has previously hosted the D2 Men's Golf Championship, but this is the first time a basketball title will be played in the area. The tournament has 20 teams, and all games will be played at Southern. Meanwhile, the Joplin Outlaws began the summer looking like they'd compete for a title, but things have gone the opposite way recently. Joplin was just on the receiving end of a series sweep by Nevada earlier this week. Things get no easier, though. Tonight, the Outlaws host Jeff City, who's in first place in the South Division. That one getting started in just over a half hour at Joe Becker Stadium. Stay hydrated if you're braving the heat to take this one in. These 2 teams will be playing again tomorrow evening as well, and we'll have highlights from this game tonight at 10. And finishing things out with pro baseball, it's been a forgettable season for the Royals, yet I do tend to remind you of that all the time when I talk about their games. This afternoon, though, is a different story. Kansas City hosting Cleveland, trying to avoid getting swept. And early on, Shane Bieber was in control for Cleveland. First, he strikes out Samad Taylor in the 3rd. Next batter, Nick Prado, goes down swinging as well. Bieber would have 8 strikeouts in 6 shutout innings, but he left the game with no score. And in the 8th, the Royals would tie it up as Prado lined into center off Trevor Steffen. 1 run scores. The game goes to extra innings. We're tied in the 10th, and there's a runner on 3rd. That's important because Jose Ramirez would steal home as Aroldis Chapman wasn't looking. He's initially called out at the plate, but Ramirez wants a challenge. They go to the replay and take a look at that slide. Yes, he is safe. Gets around. The call is overturned. The Guardians lead 3-2. We go to the bottom half of the inning. Now the Royals down. Freddie Fermin up at the plate, and he pulls one down the line into left field. The Royals would end up winning. Kyle Isbell and Nick Lopez each score. The Royals needed a game like this. They walk it off 4-3, the final. Meanwhile, the Cardinals just getting started over in St. Louis against the Astros. Back and forth game last night between these two. Houston wound up winning in the last couple innings, but good news for Cards fans. Today's starting pitcher, Adam Wainwright, ton of success against Houston in his career, 13-1 lifetime record. That's all for sports. We're back after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to hear more from the mother of a Carl Junction teen who took his own life 10 years ago. Plus, the nationwide travel nightmare isn't over yet. We're going to see how many flights were impacted today and when we might see relief. Those stories, a lot more tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. In the meantime, good evening to stay inside watching TV because it is hot out there.
That's right. And tomorrow we're going to be touching that century mark once again, which would tie the record. Storms on Saturday, a little bit more storms on Tuesday, and then back to normal, if you want to call normal, in the upper 80s next week.
Final sports note.
Outlaws battling the Heat tonight and the first place team in the league. We'll have highlights from that game at 10.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.